Hey there, good people of the world. It is the Big Heavy, and wanted to give you a quick field report on the Bluetti AC200P, which is sitting on the ground next to me. We're just closing up camp after a weekend here in Dreher Island State Park. Lovely spot for a camp right in the water. Fantastic, beautiful, kids having fun and/or murdering each other in the background. Great spot for a camp. So Bluetti came out, had it for the whole weekend, had it hooked up to my Iceco VL60 cooler, which I've talked about in the past, and came in with 100% in the battery. It's now at, let's see, 36%. So made it through the weekend in good stead. We came in Friday, probably got here around 7:15ish, switched the cooler over from running off my truck to running off of the Bluetti. From a battery perspective, was fine. You know, from an overall perspective, couple things that were a little bit off, and the biggest one is partially the Iceco's fault. The 12-volt adapter, which is the standard cigarette style auto plug on the Iceco, is a little bit small, it seems. You know, it'll wiggle out of other 12-volt outlets, and the Bluetti, as best I can tell, is a little bit big. So that combination didn't exactly help, and there were a couple times when that 12-volt outlet fell out of the Bluetti, came over, and the cooler was off and not cooling, obviously, which thankfully we found pretty quickly, and were able to kind of triple check that it was plugged in future times using the cooler. But it obviously would have been bad news if that got unplugged for a night or something like that, and we didn't realize it and woke up and had spoiled food. So I think the way to address that is obviously replacing the cord on the Iceco, which I think I need to do anyway. Probably just going to make my own and have a variety of adapters. Both those combined, being a little bit out of spec on the 12-volt outlet, certainly made for a little bit of a challenge. The other thing I noticed, and it might be a function of wireless charging in general, might be a function of the cases on my phone, but I do have a wireless charging pad that I use at home that seems to work pretty well. I'll throw my phone on there at night and wake up and it's charged and all is well. In this case, you know, really love the idea of the wireless charging pads on the Bluetti. There's two right on top. You know, in a camp environment, it was great to kind of toss our phones on there, but they didn't really seem to be effective. And again, that could be a combination of phones, cases, you know, temperature. I think when it's hot, that charging's not as efficient, and it was probably ambient temp or in the 80s while we were here. That wasn't great. The other thing which I noted in my longer review of the Bluetti, it's got that big honking green light on there. The screen's lit up all the time. That was a little goofy at night. We did cover this with a tarp to keep any condensation off, but you could still actually see the light through the tarp. And you know, everyone that walks by kind of sees you got this cool little thing with a screen sitting around your camp, and might attract more eyes than you'd want. On that note with the screen, you know, it was a little bit bothersome to not have that runtime remaining, which every other power bank I have will tell you, based on the load you're currently driving, how much load or how much time you're going to have left in your battery. The Bluetti delved through every menu. I've read the manual, I've searched online, unless there's some firmware update or something that I'm totally missing, doesn't tell you that information, which to me is a critical piece of information. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but at least on an order of magnitude, if you know based on what kind of load you're driving, whether you have 2 hours or 2 days, that would be helpful data. You know, based on kind of how things are running, you can get a sense. You know, we finished with 35% left, so we burned about 30% each day. So that's kind of surprised me. You know, I think you could get 3 24-hour cycles through this. I thought we would have been able to get a little bit more, quite frankly, based on having that 2,000 watt-hour battery. The Jackery 1000, when I did that field test, we were able to make it for a full 3-day camping weekend, granted with a little boost from the solar panel, but it wasn't that big a boost. So I don't know if that's just, there's a large draw from the Bluetti just to kind of keep it running and keep that screen powered, or if, you know, I did something wrong or if something's going on there. So I want to do a little more testing there. Want to compare this to the Jackery 1500 and bring that out without solar and see how that does in a future field report. Kind of mixed on the Bluetti, to be honest with you, after having it out for a weekend. Not sure if the extra weight and size is worth it over something like the Jackery 1500, which I'll do in a future field report. So thanks for watching, and until then, be kind to each other, be well, and this is the Big Heavy signing out from the lovely woods of Dreher Island State Park.
Ever wonder why every talking head on YouTube asks you to hit the like and subscribe button at the end of their video? You were right, because we're living in a computer simulation. And our benevolent robotic overlords get just a little bit of energy every time you hit that like. So do me, the rest of civilization, and our benevolent robotic overlords a favor. Mash that subscribe, be kind to each other, keep living your simulated dreams.